Hello and welcome to Rainbow and Razorblades Productions, where chaos reigns in all of our content. My name is Steve, or Hermes4939. I'll be your GM for this session. Tonight is the final session of our two-part adventure, where we have been showcasing the brand new, unreleased role-playing game World of Arzium, created by the team at Red Raven Games. This amazing TTRPG is part of the current crowdfunding project Creature Caravan, which is live on GameFound. So please make sure you head over to GameFound and take a look at the campaign. Over these sessions, we've been walking through the prototype of World of Arzium. This world was first introduced in the Red Raven board game City of Iron, and subsequent games including Above and Below, Near and Far, Now or Never, and soon to be coming out Creature Caravan. The game you have been seeing is a work in progress. We're showcasing the world, some of its characters, and playtesting the current mechanics of the game. This is an unsponsored preview of the game. So please remember that everything you see here is subject to change during and even after the project. But before we jump into how this game works, I would love to have my cast introduce themselves again, their pronouns, and the characters they will be playing, and their characters' pronouns, because those can be different and most often are. Can we start with Suzanne, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Suzanne Sheldon. My pronouns are she and her, and I am playing the Lurfrin Brom Brunctious. And Brom uses he, they pronouns. And Brom is kind of he is a builder of sorts, is kind of his background. A builder and somehow slipped into being a merchant too.
Does Brahm have, like, a favorite kind of footwear?
Oh, that is a phenomenal question. I think Brahm is a buckle boy. So
Ooh,
whatever footwear
Yes.
it is, it's got some pretty cool buckles. That's what I'm
nice
betting.
polished buckles.
Yeah, the instant be asked that question, I'm like, I really want to know the answer to this question more than I have for most things that I have heard about today. And with that, we will actually just go over to B then.
Well then, hello, hello, I am your non-binary busy bee. My name is B Zelda. My pronouns are they, them, and I am excitedly playing Crust. Crust is Grouskin. Crust is Cook. Crust loves Cook, and Crust makes great hearty stew. And I've been having a fantastic time really just like helping out everybody because like who isn't hungry at least at some point. Plus with all of the things that are going on within our story, I mean Crust is thriving.
Thank you. And we will go to Omar, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Omar, he, him, any, and today I have the wonderful joy of playing Fowler. She, they. They are a toad folk investigator. So a little frog Sherlock Holmes who's aspiring to become the best detective in the land.
Thank you. And finally with Killian.
Hi, Killian, your resident Chaos Goblin. I have she, they, any pronouns, and I am playing Zeke, the Cracks, a crocodilian character, and is the Watson to our Sherlock.
Thank you. And
And they
again,
are they,
my name is
them.
They Them Indeed. And again, my name is Steve. I will be your GM for the prior session and this session. And my pronouns are he, him, but I will be playing everyone. So I will be using all the pronouns. And last we left off, our friends are in Sorso Castle. Sorso Castle is again in the world of Arzium, where this game takes place. And once I find our
I gotta
big
just say,
map,
I can't believe we split the party, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud of Zeke and Fowler. Y'all did great, but I still cannot believe we split the party that way.
Right?
especially even after it indicates in the rules, Ryan put in the
I missed
rules
that part.
the you should not split the party. And mostly it's due to
Uh,
the breakdown of the breakdown of time of scenes and making sure everyone is not just sitting and hanging out, but with the group that we have in front of us, all of you are a very giving and friendly and constantly moving group, so we can enjoy other successes and triumphs. And so it's and when you suggested doing that, at no point be like, no, you got to do the thing. No, this is free form. This is something that we may not even finish this mission or quest today.
It just means we have to play again.
sorry folks, we got to play again. Anyway, um the world of Arzium is a world where hundreds of clever creatures live and fight together, where ancient machines and strange magics are perilous tools, and where centuries of secrets hide among the remains of fallen empires. We have hogfolk, humans, toadfolk, Assyrians, lizard folk, bird folk, grasskin, and many more thrive in this wild world. Though to most, this diversity is nothing extraordinary. It's the world they've always known. In recent years, rival city states have grown powerful in the Southwest Seas. They're industrial cities fueled by machines powered by bottled demons and rare hexite crystals. In the vast deserts to the north, amid the rugged towns and the stout farmers and miners, lie the ruins of the Arzians, a fallen civilization after which these lands are named. Treasure hunters scour these lands for ancient powers and forgotten technologies, selling their finds to the knowledge hungry scholars in the southern city states. And our adventure indeed does continue in the southeast part of the world. In the northern section of the Vorian Forest, in Sorso Castle, where we find our group. King Zelagar, who oversees this section of the land, has a recent dispute going on with the village of Ren to the north. The dispute involves the ownership of the all-important Silver Blood mine, and since the dispute, all work has ground to a halt. The other problem that our party has witnessed firsthand was the haunting by the Mephrins. Mephrins, again, are tall beings who appear mostly at dusk and at night. They can often be found wandering caves and mines during the day. They can be hurt, as we've found, and when they can disappear in a flash of light if they're damaged enough. However, they simply regenerate and return within a few days. This is part of the ongoing issue. The king's resources are becoming spread thin due to the ongoing haunting by the Mephrins. He asked the mayor of Ren for assistance, and this unlikely group is the one that has arrived. But they have shown that smart minds, kind hearts, and a few well placed blades can overcome most challenges. These challenges move the pair of unlikely friends of Fowler and Zeke outside the castle and to Brom and Crust inside the castle. So last time we left off, Fowler and Zeke had some experiences with Roger and Morv.
Morv!
Yes, are two of the castle guards in essentially kiting all the Mephrins in the area to a larger group to be taken down to try to reduce the damage to the city at night.
Did you say
Brom,
kiting? I'm sorry. Do you play MMORPGs?
no, why would I do that? I only play pretend with my friends online.
Uh-huh. That was just so smooth. Thank you. I had to call that out.
um, And so as we go back to the castle itself, we have Brom and Crust. And so just kind of set the scene again. As dust settled, we had what kind of sounds like the whistling of wind that slowly kind of turns into more of like haunting kind of screams. Crust and Brom, as you're inside, kind of watching the changing of the guard every hour or so, you see guards that come in that have been injured are mostly tired and even still frightened and shell shocked by the ongoing assaults that are taking place in their town. With the problem is there's no end to it. There's no reasoning on why this is taking place, and there's no end to it at this point. Um, Crossed with the food that you have been making, you're seeing that it has assisted in some of these guards coming back still alive, to be honest. But as the evening moves closer to past midnight, you know that Zeke and Fowler are out in that mess, but also the Mephrins have figured out that there has been a changing of the guard, and you can slowly see that the Mephrins have moved towards the castle, and there have become issues at the front gates. Um, you have the sergeant, the rabbit robot that has been running around, the massive red robot with big, huge bunny ears, and even actually have drawn a couple whiskers actually on the robot. Comes sprinting up to Brom and Crust and indicates, "We require your assistance at the front gates. We need to support the front gate and some of our." You can see it kind of sparking at some point, knowing it's taken some damage. Some of the structures in the front. Can you please come to assist?
Brom must wash hands, but yes, yes.
Of course. Where's Fowler and Zeke?
They left with Morv and Roger. They will be safe with the Captain Vorga outside. Or if they were not, we will find them in the morning.
Oh, Crust does not like that answer.
But
Yes, I
if
too, I too,
if
Crust, am worried, but we must assist if we are needed now. If there's anything we can do, our mission is to help the people with the Mephrin, and we can't let the city fall to the Mephrin tonight. We must do anything we can for these
Yeah,
fine people
Crust
and
wants the
trust
forest back.
that mighty minis, Fowler and Zeke will sustain themselves through the night. And
Yes.
Morv is a good guy. Morv will look
Morv
out
looked
for him.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crust agrees.
So we'll
and so
follow
as
the
you
rabbit
yep,
robot.
yep, and as you move forward with the sergeant, you can see that, and Brom, to be honest, you can easily see with your really essentially architecture and crafting background, you can see that they have the proper supplies, but everyone is in kind of a frenzy and trying to prep some of these larger doors and even prep the wall itself with boards and logs and essentially building materials and trying to prop it. But they're guards, they don't understand the necessary science of building. And this is something that you well understand. And they have directed you to essentially uh, lead the orchestra. Um, they want some help doing that, and so this is going to be essentially a knowledge challenge. So we're going to have our first challenge roll right off the bat.
Woo!
Challenge rolls are essentially your general roles, like if you're for anyone that has played 5e or anything like that, these are your checks, your ability checks. We have 5 stats on our character sheet and over here. So we have strength, knowledge, cunning, perception, and craft. So on our challenges, we're going to choose one of our attributes. And then whenever you have a challenge, the GM is going to provide you what the risk is going to be, whether it's very low, low, medium, or high. Okay. What this is going to allow you to do is to choose how much of your attributes you want to apply to it. So you have to reach a 10 for a full success, 6 through 9, or 7 through 9, sorry, is still a success, but you have to check the tempt fate box, which we see here right in the middle. And if you get 3 of those, something happens. And then 1 through 6 is what's considered a fail forward. And so this task is going to just be it's going to be a low risk. You're still inside a castle, okay, and you're still being assisted by large members of the guard. And so, what I want you to do with that is to take your knowledge score. You're going to first apply any passive that you have, which I don't think
None.
none, and that's
Yeah.
okay. And then you can choose to add any knowledge points that you would like. Or I suppose if you would like to use craft instead, I have no problem with you using craft instead. You can choose whether you want to use knowledge or craft in this situation, since you are essentially building.
As my challenge or assigning my points? I could use craft points or I can use my craft
You
stats.
can just use your craft stats. And I'm looking
Oh,
at your
heck
sheet. Your craft stat
yeah.
is higher.
So I have a passive because it is what I do. I
Mhm.
I have risen. I've been a successful individual largely more because of a blessing of instinct and luck more than knowledge per se. So I will go with my crafting. I will roll a d10. I'm going to go ahead. I don't want to fail this. I don't want to. So I'm going to go ahead and also assign one of my points. So I'll have a +2 on this.
Okay.
And I rolled a 6. So I will get 8, I believe.
Okay. So with an 8, that is still considered a success, but you need to mark one of your tempt fate boxes. So you're going to
Got it.
mark the first box in your tempt fate. When we get to 3, and when those 3 boxes are full, we'll have a consequence for that taking place. Also, in the top right corner, so we don't miss it, is what are called memory knots. So, memory knots, as I move up here, and the very top underneath the level and the player, your memory knots allow you to do 3 rerolls per level. So that means that, but to be able to use one of your knots, you need to recall a memory or a situation that lets you have prior knowledge of the situation to then use it as a reroll. So it's adding a little bit more depth to your character, come up with on the fly on to reroll for a challenge. Now, if this was something that was going to be what's called a difficult roll, let's say the wall was almost going to fall and we said that this was going to be difficult, you would have to succeed on one of these checks twice. Okay. There are going to be certain situations where we may be able to have another player's character assist with that role, and they can use one of their attribute points to add to your role. But to use some of theirs, it's 2 attribute points of theirs, and they can give, and it adds 1 to your role. So it takes a little bit more out of their pool, but it's assisting to your role. Okay, so there's an additional cost involved with that situation. But again, moving forward, we still have a success. We have the one temp fate box. So instantly, Crust, you're kind of seeing Brahm even almost bring you with them. And so they kind of bring you up and they point to the stack of logs, and you can see that they're trying to push these flat end logs against the wall, and you immediately pull them down, cut that to 45, so then they lay flat against the wall. And then you're directing, and then you kind of ask Crust to go and grab some of the other individuals and then move to prep to get to essentially make, to essentially make an assembly line. I want you to, get these logs set. I need some of you larger individuals to prep these rocks around the base of the log to hold them up. So you're really starting to make this process, and in not too long of a time, the wall is extremely prepared. It's essentially holding against any pushing or shoving that the Mephrins may be able to apply. Essentially, they're seeing those what are called Mephrin spitters on the outside that are kind of trying to find holes in the wall, trying to whatever it is to trying to break it apart. Thankfully, at this point, the sergeant comes up to you, Bram. Thank you for your help. I have received word that your friends should be coming in the lower side entrance. We have you can see them again, like just kind of not really falling apart, but definitely having some issues, whether it was through damage. We have a failsafe plan in case the front entrance is blocked. So please follow me. And they lead you kind of back into the castle and then down like a winding staircase. Essentially, not to be too over the top, if you watch the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom when they're kind of going down to some lower catacombs. And but you can hear kind of like machinery down there. You can't see kind of where it's coming from, but you understand from that Sorso Castle is here because of it used to be an Arzium ruin, and that there is still things underneath this castle that have not been discovered or have been blocked off. But that's neither here nor there. Sergeant leads you over to kind of a corner door and then kind of reaches up and turns, half turn one side, grabs another block, does another half turn the other way, and a door kind of opens. And you see Morv and Roger both helping in Fowler and Zeke without an issue. It doesn't appear that Zeke or Fowler that you have taken any damage. I'm informing you of what they see, but you've seen some things. You've seen some things. You've seen guards that have been that have passed. You've seen some grievously injured, um, and that I would say just knowing Zeke and Fowler for this time. It's nothing that you have seen before. I would say I'm not going to use up any of your potions or any wound kits or anything like that. That kind of thing, even if you did use it up, which you more than likely did out in the field, you're able to pick that back up, those kind of crafts back up. Actually, in saying that, as you're passing through to kind of to skip along, prior to leaving, don't let me forget, we're going to add some additional materials and add some additional things prior to heading out. If I don't remember as we move forward, but you essentially the party has been now reunited, and I would say it's probably about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. Sunrise is probably in a couple hours.
Well, obviously, Fowler. Oh my gosh, Zeke.
Oh,
It's a huge relief to see you here looking well. Are you injured? Are you
No,
okay?
but I found a weak spot. I was helpful.
oh,
What what
I would like
happened?
to hear more. Should we talk over some golden tea?
Tea
Sounds
would be
wonderful.
fantastic. Hot water. We gotta remember the hot water.
Somebody should bring us hot water. Crom knows that it is supplied well here.
And
Yeah, I'll grab like the sleeve of like anyone passing by. I'm just like, excuse me, could you fetch us some hot water? It's
So
of the
yeah, I think
utmost
we'd probably
importance.
be able to acquire all the
Yeah.
ingredients, sit
Yes.
down,
Yeah.
share kind of like everything that happened. I don't remember what the weakness is though, so like what
Underneath the gin.
yes.
And I will
This is
say,
good information. I'm sure, Fowler, your daggers come in handy
It did.
in that
That's
situation.
very correct.
He did a
and
leap
I
and
would
it was
yep.
amazing.
And I would say moving forward, anytime you're fighting a Mephren, anyone in the party can do one additional damage due to the information that Zeke has found out using some of their scholar abilities.
Right on. Um, while I'm talking, and now that Brahm is so relieved that Zeke and Fowler look well and that we're all together, but I am concerned about the rabbit robot and their injuries, and clearly it's affecting their ability to operate. So with my makeshift ability, and considering that I double checked, and I think that really the builder is probably the archetype that is best suited to do some repairs here. Can I go up to the robot and say, Sergeant Robot, I think if you just let me tinker here for a few seconds, I might be able to. I can't fix everything here, but I could probably fix a few connections here to, make you operate a little more smoothly in these high stress times.
Yeah. I believe that's something that would definitely be within the builder's scope. What we're going to look at here is that using that makeshift master, it's something that you can choose. I will let Brom choose. You can fix the sergeant temporarily until someone here at the castle can fix him permanently, or and not make a roll, or you can try to fix him permanently and have the option of kind of providing a possible upgrade for him, but I will make you make a crafting check roll as a challenge.
Could I help with that?
Yeah, I could see that. With your little
I mean,
hands.
clearly, Sorsos City needs as much strength and power as possible.
Mhm.
So while I'm sure that the fine crafts people here could resolve this in the future, it's better to do as much as we can for this powerful sergeant as possible right now. And
Okay.
Brom, Crust, if you can assist. I know that
Yes.
maybe it won't enjoy your stew, but perhaps you can give me a hand anyhow.
Yeah, Crust is just happy to be helpful with food or with hammers, screwdrivers, wrenches.
Mhm.
Any tools you
Cr-
have would be a huge service.
Crust only has
Yep.
those three.
Good.
Yep. This is going to be a medium risk because you're operating essentially on a person. Um, and they, as kind of Sergeant kind of is taking you back. It took you back upstairs. Sergeant, kind of looks at the both of you and kind of remembers Brom how efficient you were with being able to fix things, and Crust with how willing you were to just start helping out the minute you arrived, and said, "I have a feeling that you have my best interests in mind. Please come with me." And they kind of essentially take you to uh, more, you could say, a mechanics kind of office. That robots are quite plentiful here, and they need medics for people with blood, and so they need, with the robots here, there's going to be a first aid station that's kind of for them as well. So it Sergeant sits down and kind of points to where there's a couple different access panels. There's obviously going to be some damage in between some of the plates on their shoulders and on their neck. You can definitely see that there's some damage there. So this is going to be a medium risk. That doesn't mean that our result of a 10 for a success changes at all. It's just that the failure, if something goes wrong, is a little bit higher. So I have Brom using their one passive, and then you can add whatever you want to out of your attributes. And I have Crust being able to provide whatever points that they want to. Essentially, you Crust pays 2 and Brom gets 1.
So crust is okay, got it. So I get one.
Hmm.
So I have my one passive, my one from crust, and I'm gonna go ahead and spend the two remaining attribute points.
Okay.
So I'm out of attribute points until I
Hmm.
refresh them. But I want this rabbit robot
Yep.
to be
Crust
well.
Crust can provide more than just one, but they have to pay 2 points for every one they do provide.
I'd rather have
So
crust. I think.
I
Thank
got
you
so
for your
many.
assistance. But
Crust has a lot, and Crust has
oh,
not used
really?
any.
Got it.
uh, I'd happily, if I give you two, that means I'm marking off four.
Right.
yes. Yep.
Crust will provide.
Okay. I think that gets us to our +4 limit, I believe, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's right. We are. So I'm gonna take back one of my attributes
Yep.
then. Okay.
Yep.
So we're that's
Hmm.
right. We max out at 4. All right.
Yep. So roll your
So
D10.
yeah, Brahm is clearly knows his way around these tools. They're all familiar, even though he's never been in this workshop before. So picks up some of the tools, grabs what Crust is handing over. These are perfect, Crust. You have a natural instinct for this. I guess cooking does carry over to crafting. And oh and from with a rolled 9 plus the 4, rather
Oh, nice.
expertly tinkers his way with the robot rabbit. Just
Wow.
like it's like watching a hand dance with
It's
tools
beautiful.
around the robot's neck
Crust
as
is
we're fixing
mesmerized.
wires.
Yeah. And during that
Zeke is like
time,
holding
as
on to a window and just hanging there and watching.
and as Brahm is kind of working, it's actually helpful that Crust was there, because there's several connections that are actually kind of deep down inside of Sergeant, that essentially you have to almost have Crust's very small body and very small hands kind of reach down and finding several disconnected wires on the interior. So you actually hand Crust the connectors. They're like permanent connectors from the workshop, and kind of almost solder these kind of wires together. When that takes place and you kind of put everything down, Sergeant gets up and their eyes start glowing a nice, like, just a crystal blue color. And they kind of look around and they look at their arms and kind of moving around. This is amazing. I am now privy to additional operations, an additional battery source.
Whoa.
And as their eyes glow blue, you can actually see out of their arm, like it kind of changes and melds from fingers, and actually like a cannon kind of shows up on their arm. So there's actually like this essentially a laser cannon that now shows up that Sergeant has access to. This is perfect. Please excuse me. I have to go use this. And you just see them just running out. Everybody, look at my laser cannon. And
Good
so,
work,
yes.
team.
We did a
And
good job.
yes, essentially the Mega Man upgrade has taken place, as we has said. Um, and so essentially as much as the rest of the night passes and the sun rises and a calm kind of goes over the entire castle as the rest of the guards come in and essentially flop down, and get as much rest as they can. And during that time, as you are all, I'm assuming, kind of trying to find a little bit of rest as well, kind of regrouping, patching up any other additional wounds. And for everyone that's watching, in the event that any damage has taken place, due to a battle and armor is reduced, when your armor goes down to zero after the battle, your armor is then restored automatically. So essentially, if like something you get hit with something, your armor kind of moves out of the way. It's not as effective during that battle. Something you drop your shield after that battle, you're able to kind of repair, replace without actually spending any additional crafts or anything like that. Okay, so that's just for future reference. Is that you will get your armor back. Um, you do see that Vorga comes to visit you all uh, after the battle, and Vorga, the Caesarian, essentially the Caesarian knight, comes to see you all and approaches and there they are. Caesarian, sorry, Caesarian. Um, the Cresarian captain comes to see you, and she kind of bends down to crust and cracks and really kind of all of you because she is quite tall. And she says, I have to admit that I need to apologize. Initially, when you were here, I was not sure of your 100% honest, your value or what you could provide us. I understand as a scholar and as a builder and as an investigator and as a cook, you have a wide variety of skill sets that I wasn't prepared to use in the most effective manner. Um, you have saved several lives tonight. You have improved Sergeant's capabilities and even permanently repaired them. Um, you have freed up several of my guards to do other work helping around the city. And the mayor of Ren was correct in sending you, and you haven't even started on your actual quest. Um, so overall, from the king to me to all of you, I thank you. Um, I would like to provide you with two potions apiece, another wound kit, and whatever materials that Brahm and Crust may need moving forward. That's
You
going
have
to
any
for
sticky oil? Sticky oil has been real good for me.
Yes, Zeke. I've pulled some more sticky oil out. Both Roger and Morv have said how effective you are at doing that, and you can take three of those. Um, and for Brahm and Crust, that's going to be in the form of three materials. And those are going to be obviously different for the both of you. And then Vorga turns to Fowler and you, my friend, what can I help you with? What ask and you shall receive, essentially anything for your inventory, coins for the road, essentially she's kind of asking you anything in your common items or even something in your inventory that Fowler might need.
Oh, that's so kind of you to offer. Um, hmm. Um, I'm wondering. I turn to my team. Is there anything that we would really need while we go out? I mean, do we have a lantern on us?
Well,
Mm,
you never have too many lanterns. Well, of course, I have one and am happy to share. Should you need a source of light, since apparently we might get separated. It might not be a bad idea for you to have one as well.
Um,
And of
uh,
course, while they're very rare, should we have any hexite crystals, they seem to be effective against Mephren, should we need them.
And well,
yeah.
I will say, Fowler, and she easily just pulls down a lantern and hands it to you. I would also like you to take here. This is a jar of bog, and essentially for in game, it removes any one condition and restores 10 health. Okay, this is something that you should be able to use to help each other along the way. And then she provides you 2 hexite crystals as well.
Ooh, good job.
Um, and then also for all of you, I think you would be best served with either a pack bird or a pack turtle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
and so the pack birds and pack turtles, they both travel the same. They both travel the same. It's essentially whether you want a bird or a turtle to come with you.
Would
turtle,
somebody the
turtle,
size of, say,
turtle.
Zeke be able to expedite their travel and ease their travel on these animals? Or are they purely for, like,
They are like
storage?
in game, a pack turtle and a pack bird can travel 3 hexagons distance per quarter day. On foot, you travel 2. So they will at least move you along in for another hex, as well as they will assist in storage. So I don't have it here in front of me, but I believe a pack bird or a pack turtle will provide extra storage for you as well.
Turtle.
I
Let's go,
vote turtle.
turtle. Let's go, turtle.
Yes, it actually has 10 heavy inventory slots as well.
Oh,
So yes. So yep, and and she says no problem at all. Let me lead you down to the stables, the enclosed stables that are underneath the castle, where we have our pack birds and pack tortoises, pack turtles, and I think, and she kind of grabs a manifest as she's looking through. Yes, 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 yes. Um, my friend, one of my um, one of my sergeants left recently at the start of the Mephrens raid, and left with this turtle. Captain Spencer, and he did not return. But his turtle, and he dubbed the turtle, and I don't know where he got the name from. I mean, Phil, last name, he called him Phil Collins. I don't know where he got the name.
Yes.
Um,
Phil
Oh
Collins
wow.
but
lives.
Okay.
the turtle actually came back on their own. Um,
Oh.
uh, but our Sergeant Spencer did not return.
were there any signs of distress on the pack turtle when the turtle
Um,
returned?
yes, Phil Collins returned with quite a bit of injuries. That's
Oh,
why I had to check. I had to check the manifest to make sure that he had enough time to recuperate and recover. And I'm looking the manifest, and he has been insisting on trying to get out. So seems that it is time for him to head out. So if you wouldn't mind to bring Phil Collins with you, that would be most excellent for his health and well-being as well.
Crom is excited to help Mr. Collins. Crom thinks this will be a good idea.
All right.
Zeke is ready to ride Phil Collins into the sunset.
All right. So what we're going to do here is we've essentially made it through one full day. So that means the morning, midday, afternoon, and evening cycle of one full day. And we've moved into the morning of the second day. Um, the reason for everyone that's watching is quests are usually based in like a 5 to 8 day cycle for a quest to be, that's the time limit that you have. In this situation, it is really how long the guards can hold out. And I would like to provide you all actually with a level up after finishing the little quest here that we had with let me find it, with Sorso Castle. You all definitely did not need to stay here and assist, but you all did, and were extremely brave. So I am extremely impressed with all of you. So I would definitely like to provide everyone with a level up while we are here.
Woo!
Let me pull that up. Oh, and for also everyone at home, it's very helpful to understand how the level up process works. When you're at level 1, you have to complete 1 quest to make it to level 2, and complete 2 quests to make it to level 3, and so on and so
Mm.
forth. When you gain a level, you can choose 1 bonus, either a +2 health or +1 max attribute. Okay, and then also you're going to gain 2 experience points that you can use to buy abilities if you need to. Okay. Um, so you can also save these XP for later date or for a later time if you want to build up more XP for something that's obviously more expensive. Um, there's always small things like animal lore, which costs 2 XP, but then there's something larger like counterattack that costs 6, crystal singing enchanting that costs 16, critical strike. There's a
He
lot
might
of
take
different
animal
things.
lore to beat Phil Collins' friend.
Oh, that's good.
But things like first aid cost 2 XP, but essentially it's something to kind of look at if you want to. It looks like kind of while we're moving along, it's nothing that's apparent that you have to do right this minute. It starts on page 30 of the rule book and then kind of goes from there.
And
But
since we're in a
that is.
new day
Mhm.
and everything, all of the negatives we've taken to our attributes, using them, do those replenish?
I will give everyone a replenishment because of the level up, but you have to actually do a rest, which takes up
Gotcha.
which takes up 2 portions of the day. But I want to kind of get us moving, and so with a level up, I do want everyone to restore all their attributes. No one gained a condition, so we don't have to worry about the condition because during a rest, you get all your attribute points back, your health points, and you lose 1 condition. Okay.
But
That's
I
why
keep my
uh,
tempt fate point, right?
yes, your temp faint
Yep.
point will stay there
Yep.
Oh, got it. Okay.
until you get 3. So that's one of those ones that regardless of what you do, your tempt fate will come due at some point. Okay. And so it's nothing that I'm going to quiz everyone on what they do right now. You can kind of mull it around in your brain. If you come up with
I upped my
something that
perception by 1 because I actually need to use that for when I attack things.
Same. Seemed rational.
Smart.
excellent. Excellent. But yeah, I was very impressed with that what everyone did in the situation, and something especially like a basic quest. There's basic, intermediate, and I think it's like expert or difficult. For these basic quests, they can be a lot of different things. They can be something that you've been told about, like dealing with the mines and the Mephrin and all that kind of stuff, or it could be something that you stumble across where you went out of your way to help other individuals. So I'm fine with looking at something in the light of that, and especially fixing Sergeant and really taking those kind of risks. And it has and it doesn't have to do with actually defeating any quote unquote enemies. It was literally just helping out, but it could be there's bandits attacking a town and your quest is to go either solve that problem or eliminate the bandits. So it can be really whatever you're looking for. In session 1, if you're just joining us now, we saw that I think Roger took 11 points of damage from literally 1 attack, and currently my players are sitting at currently health 12, health 16, and health 14. And so that would have with our armor would have drew some, but even just one swipe could have wiped out one of our characters. And then we would have seen the the wounded and on death's door conditions real quick. But anyway, um, as we're going to be moving into the travel portion of this game, I think we left off with active character Crust. No, We left off with active character Fowler, I believe,
I
who
think so,
went
yeah.
out. I would like to move to probably Crust actually as for traveling, if that's going to be okay, because I
Are we
think
gonna
Crust. Go
skip
ahead.
anybody that way?
That's what I don't think so, because I think we started with
I think we
Brom.
each had one. Yeah.
I think everyone went
Okay.
once, so I think we're actually moving. I think this is something we had talked about earlier. We wanted to kind of use Crust's wandering ability while we're traveling, and
Awesome.
I think that would fit well with the hexes that we're going to be moving into. Because I don't have my horrible drawings up for everyone to see, so I apologize.
Aw.
But you can draw your own trying to recreate Ryan's drawings. And then go from there. But so what we'd like to do is to kind of move into essentially I will ask Crest to essentially pick up or down moving forward. I will say that we know the Grasskin Village is forward
Yep.
this way, and we know that the mines are up around here. So
Okay.
that's the last thing that we have left off. We start moving the upward direction. We're going to kind of move towards the mines. We kind of move down, up, somewhere around there. We'll kind of make it over to the Grasskin Village.
I mean, I think it has to be the Grasskin Village.
Okay. So we're going to kind of move down, and that was a little bit over by one of our NPCs, our bird friends. Check their name real quick.
Is that
The cranky old mage bird.
The early
Yes.
Saria.
Early Saria.
Early Saria?
So
Yeah.
you're moving past early Saria's house, and that and you're kind of are we walking beside Phil Collins, or are we riding on Phil Collins? What do we think? Phil Collins is like massive. So Phil
And we are
Collins
all
is
not massive.
yeah.
You
Phil
know.
Collins is like the size, essentially not as tall as a minivan, but like almost like two minivans, and then kind of short and squat. So
Could you give
Phil
us
Collins is big.
this in reference as like a sky bison? Like how many sky
Yeah.
bison is Phil Collins?
I was going to say that is an excellent reference. I would say it is kind of essentially one sky bison
Okay.
minus the tail. I would say just like upper body and not fuzzy.
But I do imagine that with Crust's wandering ability, Crust is riding on its head.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I've got like a little seat there. It looks like a little crown, but it's just like a little makeshift seat that I've made.
Yeah, because thankfully they can adjust any of the seating and any of the pack arrangements prior to leaving Sorso Castle, and with the number of creatures that live in this world, it's very easy to retrofit anything that's needed with small chairs or seats or anything like that.
We're ready
it's
for
just
this.
nice.
Mhm.
So as you move forward past early Saria's kind of abode, and you're kind of wrapping your way kind of around kind of the lake that's there, there's really no issues that you're coming across. It's just a simply grassland area, and then there's a small lake. If anyone finds anything that they want to essentially check out the lake, anything like that, but you're not seeing anything that would strike you as out of the ordinary. You're still moving past. You're still moving out of Sorso Castle, and then a bit, traveling what would be east towards where you think the Grasskin Village is.
Mm.
So
I
go
have
ahead.
a question, if that's all right.
Mhm. Yeah.
When we are purchasing abilities after leveling up, can you
Mhm.
purchase 2 of the same one?
Which one are you looking at?
Well, since you're mentioning this lake that we're going by, I was eyeing fishing, which
Mhm.
is a cost of 1.
Mhm.
And what happens is when you pass by a body of water, you gain a coin. And I'm wondering if you can double up on that, so now it's 2 coins.
Is it when you pass by or when you rest by?
Oh, it's rest by. It's rest by.
I like the idea that you just like walk by like a large body of water and money gets tossed at you.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
Toss a coin to your Fowler.
That is-
Yes.
That is going to be a question that I am definitely going to ask Ryan. I don't get the sense from taking from these abilities that you can double up on them.
Right.
But it's going to be one of those things that's going to be a good question for the designer, because this is, as we said, a prototype game. Is that, can there be certain levels in low end or low cost abilities? Like, it's a low XP, but that can be something that can definitely a level one fisher person is much different than like a level two or a level three fisher person, even whether
Right.
it's in real life or otherwise. So I like the idea, but not at this time. But if you want to stop, and I would say go fishing for a hot minute, I have no problem with that, as long as depends on the discussion of the active player, what the active player thinks.
How long is a rest?
The rest, I would say, is, I'm not going to count this as like a full rest. That would take two quarters of the day. I would say
Mm.
you would probably take up one of the quarters of the day. So let's say it would take, probably, like, we're early morning right now. It would take into We would move into midday while still being in this hex.
Let's do it. Crust would
Okay.
Crust wants to snack break.
Okay.
Crest would like to
So
see what Fowler can catch as a fish.
Yep.
so and I will, Fowler, I will give you the option as well. You
Mhm.
can kind of try some easy fishing, and grab yourself a coin and probably more of like a basic fish, or you could use either knowledge or cunning and try to catch something a little bit bigger, catch something a little bit more, and actually make a challenge roll for it.
Oh, let's do a challenge roll.
Okay. So, would you like to use, let's see, what did I say? Knowledge or
Cunning
cunning? Yep.
I'm gonna go cunning.
Okay. So,
could Crust help with this as well. Same way as
being
before, point for point,
for using, as I would say, as for
or 1 for
your
2.
wanderer feats, and gourmet cooking, sneaking, I would say a lot of your abilities would be great, especially if Fowler is using cunning. What I'm imagining is you two kind of looking for like that overhanging branch that's in the shadow with some
Mhm.
water running through it, where fish are probably bedding down and are a little bit angry about something coming through their beds. And so they're more likely to bite. Even I could even go as far as saying, if you want to catch something really big, is using yourself as bait for even like catfish noodling.
Oh, that's really
Oh my
Zeke
good.
god.
volunteers
We're
for bait.
so little.
Mhm.
Zeke was a crocodile. Zeke's a crocodile. They're used to the water.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure. Give it, do it. Let's
So
do it.
what I want to do here is, so Fowler, I want you're going to be using your passive, obviously. So we
Mhm.
have one. And are you going to use any of your cunning pool?
I let's see. I'm gonna use my passive one is already cooked in. I'm gonna
Hmm.
burn logical reasoning, which is to
Okay.
say I'm gonna burn one knowledge
Okay.
to roll twice.
Awesome.
Just
Ooh.
to be safe, so I'm just gonna mention that up front. I
Thank
will
you.
totally use a point of cunning, so I've got +2 right now.
Yep. Okay.
And then
Zeke spending two.
Zeke, you're gonna go ahead and spend 2. So
Or
2
no,
for
sorry,
1.
Crust.
Oh
Crust is
yes, yeah.
spending
I'm gonna
two.
do 2 for 1. So 2 my
Okay.
points for 1 for you. And then can I am I able to add any of my abilities, like my +1 to traveling and survival? Because it's like, no. Okay.
Nope. Nope. That's kind of
Um,
the reason. The reason I think you having those is why I'm allowing you to be able to help out,
got
if that
it.
makes sense.
Okay.
So we're at +3 right now. I know
Okay,
that
Okay.
that's
because
where
I
we
put
gotta
it on my
settle.
And we got
D4.
2 rolls. I feel good about this.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Add 3 to your D10 roll.
Here we go. Roll that d10. The first one is 5, so that's 8 so far. We're gonna roll
Mhm.
again.
Yep.
That's a 3, so we're gonna stick with that 5. So 8.
Okay. 8 total. So that's going to be, we're going to check off a box in the tempt fate.
Perfect.
So what I'm imagining is both Crust and Fowler kind of almost just dive in
Hmm.
and kind of go down into, and you find essentially, which is a catfish hole, except in the world of Arzium, they don't have catfish.
No.
Okay.
They have in these kind of holes in here are essentially what are called dragonfish. And so dragonfish are these extremely difficult to find fish. They have extremely rainbow scales. And instead of like the whiskers that catfish have, it has almost its fins just look like wings.
Oh my goodness.
But they're
Wow.
Love
extremely
it.
aggressive.
Oh
And
no.
so as you kind of dive in and you kind of pull out like a little mini, almost like hexite crystal, just to kind of shine in there. And then you see Crust helping by kind of like just covering it up and doing flashing it. And you see a spark almost like the cartoon electric eels, you know, how they
Mhm.
kind of like show up and like the cartoons, like they actually like generate electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And you see kind of a spark in the back, and then the last thing that Fowler you see is this massive dragonfish shooting towards you, and right at the point that it's about to hit you, you kind of pull like one of the branches of the tree in the way, so the dragonfish grabs onto the branch in front of your face, and you kind of essentially knock the fish out and take the and kill the fish instantly with one instant strike. And then essentially Russ has to go back up to kind of get Brahm's help to kind of pull the fish all the way out. And so you have yourself one dragonfish. And so a dragonfish is going to be probably about 6 pounds of fish.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Um, and
That's as much
what
as
it
Zeke
has,
weighs.
yeah, you have essentially a 6 pound dragonfish. You can take off the scales, can be assisted. I will say that Brahm, you can pull those scales to add even plus you for one, you can use that as a special craft to add an additional +1 to any armor that you make.
Ooh.
I would say that
Scale
Fowler,
mail.
you can remove some of those teeth and use that, add that to your tooth dagger to even to give that an additional +1.
The
I'm
dagger is
giving,
actually just a bunch of teeth glued together.
Mhm, yep. And then I'm going to say for crust that you are going to be able to add another bonus to the next food that you cook,
Nice.
and that I need Zeke. You are going to be able to put this in your scholar notebook on how to catch and prepare dragonfish, and you're able
Gets
to
all close
find
to
that.
Crust and it's watching as Crust puts
Mhm.
it. Okay, I'm taking notes. I'm
What
gonna
you're
write down
going
this recipe so you
to
have it.
What?
what you're going to
Crest
be able
wonders
to
why you're
do
so
with that.
close.
Yep.
But
What you're going to be able to do with that, Zeke, is to be able to impress the next person that you meet and to get a reroll on kind of any personal check, like a essentially what would be like either a cunning check or a knowledge check with an individual to share this story.
Lovely.
And as my producer is letting me know, we're right at the 1 hour mark already. We are finding very entertaining things to do. And so we're going to take about a 5 to 10 minute break, and then we're going to jump right back in and continue our journey to the Grasskin Village. And so again, this has been Rainbows and Razor Blades, giving you the session 2 of our 2 part of World of Arzium by Red Raven Games, which is currently on GameFound. Hope you come back in the next about 5 to 10 minutes, and we will see you then. Bye. Hi, welcome back to Rainbows and Razorblades, where we are finishing our final session of World of Arzium by Red Raven Games, who you can be found on GameFound. Last reminder that this is entirely a prototype and unsponsored showcasing of the system. We are looking at the massive world of Arzium, the characters and people that you can find in it, and the stories that you can tell using this system. Okay. But everything that we are doing here, again, I pointed to a screen like I like to, like you can see what I'm pointing at. The system that we are using is essentially can change at any time. You'll find those in the ongoing updates. Red Raven is one of the companies that's exceptional at updating their ongoing campaigns. So again, go over to GameFound, take a look at the videos, take a look at the other stuff that they're offering, including Creature Caravan, some of the other reprints of some of their older games that are tough to find, including Artifacts Inc. They have a new version of Islebound, which is an amazing game. There's been some tweaks to that. And as a sidebar, um, Brian, as a designer and as an artist, is exceptional at retooling a lot of his games. The original Empires of the Void came out, and then he worked on Empires of the Void 2, which is absolutely exceptional and massive game. But he continues working on things, and even Creature Caravan, I guarantee, was originally the idea of something else that didn't work for that system. So he put it away, got it back out of the box someplace, and then retooled it and made it into what it is today. So I'm really excited about all these kind of projects. But anyway, back to what we're doing. The party has found themselves moving through, leaving Sorso Castle and moving off into the wild itself in search of the Grasskin village. Recently, the party was able to catch a dragonfish through some intricate and extremely experienced and not at all risky fishing adventures. Our active player Crust is going to continue moving through the next hex or two towards the Grasskin village. In the sense of time, we're going to be moving through the next couple hexes thanks to our friend Phil Collins, our pack turtle.
Yeah.
And what I would like Crust to do is to make me essentially I'm going to again let Crust kind of pick whether they want to do a knowledge or a cunning roll. This is going to be able to locate the Grasskin village itself. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to let you pick between knowledge, cunning, and perception. I think that with your wandering, your sneaking, and being a Grasskin specifically, you are very in tune with being able to locate this village. And I kind of want you to be able to pick how Crust wants to do this. So if you can kind of explain Crust's intricate process that they have on breaking down exactly how to run down this village for us.
Yeah, so it's definitely the most intelligent and just so smart. And Crust has a little telescopic monocular. What are the single ones? Monocular.
Tell us, like,
As a like a spyglass, like that no one has seen on This Flag Means Death, which is an absolutely wonderful show.
Yes.
But anyway,
And kind of has just been like looking around with like their one eye, really trying to perceive something out of the ordinary. They know the area. Well, they don't necessarily know this area, but they've traveled in enough spots like this that they know, like, well, so that plant's supposed to grow here. Moss is supposed to be on that side. Crust knows that rocks roll left. You know, they never seem to roll right. And I think that's what I'm gonna. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll that perception to see if they can spot something.
excellent. So we can you have your +1, you have your passive, right? And then did you dump any points to it, or did you just roll for funsies?
I was so perception's the one that actually have some points to put into, so I was at least gonna put
Mhm.
one in.
Sounds good.
Um it's 8 total then
That's
with my
magical.
one passive. I
Um,
rolled a 6.
awesome. Can you check one of your tempt fate boxes for us?
Yeah, we are
Um,
tempting fate left and right.
and in the spyglass, you're kind of seeing it's strange. You've seen wind, you've seen rain, and whatever else is in the songs and the band names. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Thank you.
Earth.
That you've seen in this area, but it's almost like, and you mentioned that early Saria mentioned vibrations in that
Hmm.
everything vibrates, and but you're seeing the wind, but you're seeing it almost like
Go around.
as a wall. And wind wind doesn't do that. And so that is the best indication that you have that there is something going on in that section of the forest.
Okay.
And so
um,
go ahead.
Yeah, Crust is gonna tap on Phil Collins's head. Crust needs you to turn to the right a little. Yep. Thank you, Phil Collins. Um, and to the team, Crust does notice that some wind around here is uh it is going around a rock, but the rock is invisible. Like like if a rock could become a door that is station a wall. Crust is talking about a wall, and I wanna put my spoon through it.
Okay. And so as Phil Collins kind of moves forward, you can kind of see them. It's almost just like a Phil Collins' own vibration of agreement. There's not really a noise that it makes, but it's almost like this deep
Like, feel it.
noise as you're moving. And I would like to take this moment in that Phil Collins didn't need to go as hard as he did in the Tarzan soundtrack, but he did that for us.
Agreed. Agreed.
This one of the best soundtracks.
Two
It
worlds, one
is.
family. Come on now.
Mm, feel it. Feel it. All right. Anyway, but as you're moving forward, and you reach up to this wall of that kind of almost shimmering, and you do, and there's a rock that's right there, and as you take your spoon and but it pokes into the wall and an eyeball opens, and
Oh.
this rock picks up its head. And you have seen these or at least heard of them before, and it is literally just it is considered a talking rock.
Oh.
Zeke has heard of these, and Zeke has talked to one before. It was
Crust
one of the
has not.
first scholar notes, and like goes through the journal that probably nobody else can read because it's so freaking small.
Mhm.
It's like, see, I wrote about talking to one, and he told me this really long, slow story about a passing deer.
Okay. Uh, Crust wants you to speak to this one. We need to enter ahead. Crust wants to go ahead.
And as the floating head kind of opens its eye, and this is, oh, what do you need?
Friend Rock, we are in search of the Grasskin village that is hidden because we are trying to help figure out why the Mephren are riled up and hurting people when usually they don't. Can you help us?
I'm No, I don't know of this village, and Doug said that there's not a village here.
Oh, wait, I don't speak rock. Dang. Okay, I'm not gonna react.
Oh no, they say this
It's
just
in the
out
common
loud.
language.
Like this
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
100% common.
Oh, Crust knows Doug. You know Doug?
I think you're not being
Hmm.
honest with me.
Doug is like legendary Grasskin.
Hmm.
Kind of a big deal.
All right. Well, I know I didn't mention Doug, and you mentioned Doug, so you must know Doug. So okay. And you see the vibration, the rock kind of vibrate, and then there is literally a path opening kind of in between the trees, and there is just a regular, just like, not like what is a deer track through the woods, but pretty wide, but it's wide for a grasskin. It's wide for
Mm,
a entrance to a grasskin village.
okay.
It is not Phil Collins size, but when the head sees that Phil Collins is not side, you see that the head kind of vibrates even more, and then a couple other trees actually like actually fall down
Oh,
into the ground, and then Phil Collins is able to kind of vibrate himself and move forward.
thank you. Crust is very grateful for uh, rock and roll.
And
Thank you,
so
friend Rock. And we'll uh as Zeke goes past, we'll kind of jump over to the rock and like just attempt to hug it, but it's like 6 times Zeke's size.
Like hugging its
So it's like
eyeball.
a lizard on a rock.
Yes, literally.
Yes.
and as you're passing, as you do that, you can see the rock as Zeke, because it's not sure, because it can't see right
Mhm.
there. So all it knows something is like it's like "Nah." And then it just kind of goes back into the ground and kind of is essentially, as far as you know, probably goes back to sleep. As you're moving into the town, um, what you're assuming is we've some of you that have seen Graskin Village and some of you have not. But this Graskin Village is a little bit different. Is you're starting to hear as you pass through this wall of wind, you're hearing just like engine noise, which for us just sounds like in our world is essentially mini motorcycles. And so you're hearing the revving of engines, and as you kind of pass through into what you're assuming is this going to be this mystical Graskin village hidden in the woods, is actually more like a biker bar, but it's like a village. So you're just seeing these Graskin riding literal miniature flying motorcycles,
What?
but they are
So
just
cute.
loud as all get out. And now that you've found out that the reason that they have this wind wall is to keep the
Sound barrier.
noise inside. So you're
No.
seeing literal air bike motorcycle races that are going around the corner of this village,
Zeke
and you're
wants to
seeing
race. I don't know that
and
Zeke knows how to drive, but
you're seeing restaurants and bars and inns, and essentially what is like this mini metropolis of for a Graskin, bike rally that is taking place in this village. There are
Sturgis
some
in
larger
miniature.
building. Yes, exactly. You're seeing some larger buildings as well, to fit some of the larger folk that may be here, but it's essentially there's probably 3 or 4 that are larger huts, but essentially most things here are still Graskin village size because it's out in the middle of nowhere. Um, and as Phil Collins approaches, there's three of the air bikes kind of peel off, and you just see them and just kind of roll up, and you see several Grasskin that have like green mohawk, pink mohawk, and like red mohawk. They're essentially like this Grasskin version, yeah, the Grasskin version of like Mad Max. And so
Oh.
the one with, again, like that, like just the big like skull mask that comes up. What do you want? Run away. What do you I'm really sorry, I can't do that. Welcome to Graskin Village. Please state your business while you are here.
Oh.
Zeke
Brom.
remembers that Zeke can impress somebody with a fish story.
My goodness.
And so, well, we have other reasons for being here, but do you know how to catch a dragonfish? Because we know how to catch.
No one knows how to catch a dragonfish. Those things are huge.
Oh,
Brum, pull out the scales.
All right, you can come in, but man, don't mess anything up. Well, as he looks at like someone that like literally gets thrown out a window,
Crashes.
don't make don't mess up, don't step on anyone. Let's all just do that.
Do you have somewhere our friend Phil Collins can stable while we're here?
Well, yeah, of course. Hold on. and then like the pink mohawk, like the skull mask, you don't know their name, and then like there's the pink mohawk. Says, okay, let's go. And then so he kind of like parks himself next to Phil Collins and kind of like very gently kind of moves Phil Collins off to like a large kind of stable area where you can see, some like hay and grains and things like that have been placed in that area. So yeah.
Oh, Bill
So
Collins likes maple cubes. Chris doesn't want you to forget that.
okay, and said, okay, we got it. Thank you. And so you find yourself the your skull friend is kind of hanging out in their motorbike, but essentially you have like four or five like community buildings, and as you can see kind of in the trees in the back there's some huts, if you're thinking like old like 80s Ewok village, like huts in the trees kind of thing. I'm dating myself, but that's fine. um you're seeing like the huts in the trees kind of thing kind of around, but essentially there's like these, again, four, five, six community buildings, the motorcycle races, and then like the larger individuals kind of huts. There's two or three in that area, so that's where you find yourself as of right. And I would like to say we're still going to be on Crust for active character. So Crust, you are kind of leading the show at this point.
Okay, well then Crust will face Fowler. Crust remembers the missing mining individuals who worked at the Silver Blood mines, and now Crust knows that they're missing. Do you think you could investigate their whereabouts?
That's a wonderful idea. I can go around and ask people if they had ever met them and the last time they saw them.
Crust believes that motorcycle grass can probably know a lot, but won't say a lot. But you could investigate.
I think I can fit in, and
Oh
she
no!
takes on like a stature like some of the bikers and kind of just like jostles towards like a crowd.
Okay.
Oh no! Crust is worried
Um,
for her.
okay. So I have
Zeke
Fowler that's
crawls along
going to
after them
investigate.
to keep an eye.
And so Zeke and Fowler are going to go investigate. So we have that, and then we'll get to that in order. Brahm and Crust, what are your specific plans?
Well, while of course Brom has a lot of experience with Graskins that have traveled through up north, it's I don't think that Graskin villages are spaces that Brom has spent a lot of time in. Brom is feeling a little out of place because he's so huge here, right? Brom is 3.5 feet tall. So Brom is taller than some of these buildings, and it's just kind of like uh uh Crust. I don't want to hurt anybody. I want to yeah, I what uh I normally I feel like I know what to do, but here we are in this lovely village. Step
uh,
on somebody. The buildings are locked for me.
uh,
Help.
Crest will show you that there are no lanes for the Graskin motorcyclists because they ride in the air. Crest knows that there are walking lanes for tall folk. If you just stay to the right, walk along between the white lines and those yellow lines, Crest thinks you will be okay. Just duck once in a while and you should not get hit.
I also know that the last time that we let Dear Fowler and Zeke investigate on their own, it led to a moment for our party. Do you think
Crest
that we should
recalls.
journey with them? And wouldn't you, as a Grasskin, maybe be able to open some doors for them? Or do you think our time is better spent seeing if anybody would like some Brombucks?
Oh, no, no, Crest will open doors. Crest will open doors.
I think I shall follow your lead, and I am happy to share the wealth of Brombucks should any of your Braskin brethren and sistren and other choose to come and visit us at our fine Brunctious emporiums throughout the Northern Territories.
Right.
Essentially,
Start
so
walking away.
what I'm
Yeah, so
seeing is
Brom's
the
gonna like tiptoe
but
around and is just trying to not break anything,
Keep the
and
elbows
is
in.
taking it, yeah, and
Mhm.
kind of contemplating what he can take back to, adopt from engineering from mini flying motorcycles.
Okay. Yeah, and essentially the skull mask grasskin is essentially kind of traveling with you, but not really engaging with you unless they're specifically called upon. They're kind of just not really your sentry at this point, but they're just kind of there to everyone sees them with you, knows and understands that you've probably been allowed to be here at this point. Um, Fowler, you and Zeke kind of rushed off forward a little bit. So, just as options, I have like what least appears to be an inn, what definitely is a bar, um, and then the rest of them are kind of more of like a general store area and what appears to be kind of like another kind of inn. So essentially, two inns, a bar, and a general store are kind of what you're seeing at least in this front part right now. And then there's some crowds outside. I would say crowds. There's like 10 or 12 grasskin that are kind of outside the bar area, obviously, kind of checking out motorcycles, things like that, kind of tinkering with them a little bit, but just it's kind of essentially a hangout right now.
Um, he rocks up to the bar
Mhm.
and I guess like squats down.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the size difference between all of us. But kind of just gets comfy and just like
Mhm.
waves over at the barkeep and goes, the usual, please.
And is the and what we're going to suspend we're going to suspend the math and physics at this minute and building materials and that because we're in a magical world right now. And essentially, as you start moving towards the buildings, the magic of the place actually kind of and you're even able to see this yourself, Brom, is that you're not sure if the building is getting larger or you're essentially getting smaller. And so essentially
Zeke stands
you
next
can
to Fowler to see if they're getting closer in height.
Nah.
and essentially it is the as alcohol has been called sometimes is the great equalizer of individuals. It is the social lubricant of the world, and that also becomes to the magic of Arzium, is that everyone at this point as they enter into this area are actually, whether you're 3 feet to 4 feet tall, or you're 6 to 12 inches tall, or 3 to 5 foot tall, you are now all around the same height. If you are taller to begin with, like Brahm is still a little bit taller, like Brahm and Fowler are still about the same height, and but Crust and Zeke are shorter than them, but it's essentially you're hanging out with your short friend and your somewhat tall friend. That difference is
Zeke
still seen, but your
jumps and throws their arms over both of their shoulders. I
Mhm,
can hug you both at once now.
Look at
mhm,
this. Oh, that's incredible. Oh my
yep.
goodness.
And so, but it's weird because when you look outside, like you can still see towering Phil Collins kind of walking away, and but it's still like a little bit of a foggy area. But essentially, it would be no fun if people were super tall and couldn't come into this neat bar.
Right?
And so you're seeing like some what apparently is kind of like a metal band that's in the stage area. And Fowler, you kind of exactly go up to the bar and indicate the usual, and the bartender just looks at you and they haven't seen you before, and they just apparently just put down a brown bottle in front of you and essentially take off a cap, and you're guessing this is some kind of alcohol beerish type of thing. It has no label or anything on it, but there's a bottle in front of you, and they just kind of walk off.
Perfect. She thinks this is all working very well. She nudges the patron sitting next to them and points at the band and goes, "They're much better live, I assure you."
And the Christian looks at him and said, "Yeah, yeah, friend, they and then you just see them just turn around and just kind of walk off.
So, how about that silver blood mine, huh?
And you see, like, and even one stool down, there's another individual um that is a Zelgar, that is kind of sitting a couple stools down, that looks over to you, extremely dark skin, completely bald except for a back kind of Zuko original
Mm.
Avatar top knot like thing in the back, and said, "Mine, that mine still be working there pulling minerals out if it wasn't for uh, the argument that took place, mine getting shut down, and those Mephren piling out of there every evening. Gee, I could barely get away with my life."
The
What?
Mephren are coming from the mine?
Well,
Zeke says from down below. It's still short.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's not like they live in the trees. I mean, it- that was part of the problem. Is
So is that why
okay,
they're
okay,
mad?
okay,
Is
okay,
because the mine encroached on their territory?
okay, 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 okay. So we weren't supposed to, but the southern section of the mine. Okay, okay, okay. You go in the mine, it's like wild. Okay. You go in the mine and it's like this spider web. It's not like you just dig one trench down. There's just like these pockets everywhere. And if you don't take your locator with you, we lost one new guy for like a week because he went in without his locator, and you get lost in these catacombs, and it's wild, okay? So you got to know where you're going, and you're only supposed to stay in this section over here. But two of the people went into this other section, broke through the wall, and they're okay. There's some kind of altar there. And so apparently they didn't want anyone to know that it was there. So they took it apart. And James got all mad, and because I've been here the longest, I'm the oldest miner, blah blah blah. I'm married to Ava. We have lived in this house by the road. And so he takes this massive piece off the front of it. It was just this thick metal because he didn't want us breaking it and throwing it away. And then a week later, some Mephren started pouring out of the mine, and then I ran off and been here for about a week to watch the motorcycle races. But if you want to bet on the motorcycle races, I got a guy who's got a pretty good tip. I mean, he's tuning up one of these things out here, and I think it's really going to fly. I mean, sure, it's low on the rankings, but at 10-1, the
Um,
ostrich
um,
zinger is
um,
going to be
Oh,
a really great
that
prospect.
sounds like what great prospects. Could you give us 1 second? We're gonna quickly just like side hustle very quickly.
Yeah, but ostrich zinger is going to be they're going to be running that thing in the
That
next
sounds
hour. That's going to be
very
Chris,
good. That
Chris
sounds very
initiates the
good.
huddle.
Okay, so I use my detective skills, and I believe this person might have some information that we'll need. If only we can get him to talk, then we'll be able to find out the necessary information of why everyone has been leaving the mines and what exactly occurred.
Mm.
Feller, he's already told us. The
Oh,
altar.
well, even better,
There
even
was an
faster.
altar.
Wonderful. Okay,
Yeah, there was an
yes.
altar,
Oh,
and they took it apart.
Catacomb, yeah, it was desecrated. And Chris heard that they brought a piece of metal home. And who is James and Ava?
they have a
Ava?
house and then I'll turn back as I move my bottle towards the our friend over there. I didn't drink from this. This is untouched. This could be yours. Here you go. Where is James and Ava live again that you mentioned?
Oh, we don't accept drinks from other people that we don't know. It's just not safe.
Oh,
I appreciate it,
that's very fair.
but
I'm go
yeah,
ahead and slide that
I'll
back.
let you buy me another one though. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
what we'll.
it's on his tab. Thanks. Yep.
Yeah,
Zeke
okay.
swipes the drink from Feller.
And so as he sits down with this other bottle, he kind of takes a drink out. He says, "Now, what motorcycle did you want to bet on?"
Oh, no, no, no. The James and Ava. Which where exactly do they reside again? If we wanted to visit them and just say hello.
Well, so yeah, James is married to Ava, which is fine,
Yeah.
and she's this fish folk lady, and he
Mm-hmm.
talks about her all the time,
Uh huh.
and she's great,
Uh
and
huh. And they
and
live.
we're all what?
And where do they move to again? Where do they live?
Well, they have this little fancy place off like I don't know, within a day's walk of the mine, and it's just this little alcove on this nice little lake, and they got in there early when the property prices were low, and blah blah
Oh wow.
blah.
Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I've seen.
yeah, I've heard it's quite a beautiful exterior. Would you say that that's not true? And I
If
wink to
you
the
like
others.
pristine lake houses and
But the
that,
color of the house
then
is,
yeah.
I mean, a great choice, wouldn't you say?
I never loved the brown aesthetic that they went with. I'm a bit more of a modern individual
Mhm.
myself,
Mhm.
with
It's a bit
some
rustic.
more. Yeah, I mean it's a cabin. Okay, I mean
Mhm.
you have this brown cabin with like these nice nice blue shutters and everything like that, and that's
Uh-huh.
fine for them. But I just prefer the more, the noise and the rumble of the races. And if I
Um,
hadn't have lost my wages, then I'd be betting on them.
Within this time, Crest has paid off our tab. So we can run out of this bar whenever, and like Crest will try to signal to Fowler, but like I don't think they know how to get her attention properly. Like it's
No.
I
Fowler's in the
think that
zone.
Zeke would see Crust and like do a like Fowler and Zeke have traveled together long enough that there's a hand signal that if
Mhm.
Zeke does it, Fowler knows it's time to go. And so it's like,
Oh, yeah. Well, friend, here you go. I'm actually gonna give this person a coin for being so
"Aw."
helpful. Go ahead and see if you can turn that into do
Hmm.
some magic and turn that into more.
Actually, you have an additional coin already because you went fishing,
Oh,
so
that's
you
right.
actually do
I'll
already
put
have
down
that coin.
the
So
coin we made from fishing. Go ahead
yep.
and put that on any bike you want.
Oh, telling you, Ostrich Zinger is going to be it, and gonna be great. It's gonna
Okay, when we meet again, you're gonna have a house, and it could be any color you want. Okay, wonderful meeting you, and we'll see you later. Goodbye. Very nice meeting you.
And right as you kind of turning away because only the intricately practiced signal between Fowler and Z could ever actually get their attention to get Fowler out of this place. The door is kicked in, and there is four grasskin headed up by a by a grasskin that has like a it's almost like a coral but metal crown with like big old like motorcycle pieces on it and a spiked crown that has like chains that kind of go down the back and this big chain link like kind of like vest going on and the full motorcycle the motif is going on. And if you ride a motorcycle, you're either pirate or a Power Ranger. So if
Mm,
you're going to be riding motorcycles, you have to decide you going pirate or you going Power Ranger. There's no in between, and he went full pirate. And so this man, well, you're not sure. This grasskin individual that is male presenting comes in and says, "Who are the new people coming into my place?" and it's fairly easy, and then everyone kind of backs away as you four are pointed out and said, "Your turtle's crapping all over my front lawn, man. What's going on?"
did you know that pack turtle crap actually will fertilize really well and all of your crops will grow better?
Crest approved knowledge.
mhm.
It happened to crap on two of my people, and we're currently digging them out. So
Oh,
if I can Well, obviously the turtle needs to go. I mean, we're not holding the turtle responsible for their bodily functions. I'm not a monster, okay? Well, we love the turtle. But I
See,
would like to know what you're all doing here, otherwise you're gonna be in trouble.
Zeke, tell them that when they poop on grasskin, it fertilizes our souls. Crest knows this fact.
So also, like the fertilizer will for grasskin, particularly because of their affinity with the grass, it means that they'll be fertilized in their soul and they'll go bigger and stronger once they come out. And but also, hi, I'm Zeke, and we are here trying to help with the Mephren issue. We have been sent by oh no, Fowler, I forgot who we were sent by.
The mayor.
No.
Mayor, do you know? Remember the name? I wrote it in
The
one of
mayor
Fowler's
of Ren is all you
notes.
know. You actually don't have the
Mayor
mayor's
of Ren,
name
yes.
because
The
yeah.
mayor of Ren sent us to Sorso Castle to help. And also, did you know that Mephren have a weakness? I can tell you about that later. But we were
In the middle of your
here.
conversation, he slams a staff into the ground, and instantly there's almost like this weird light that coalesces around Zeke. And then instantly as that happens, all right, do the thing. And you see someone like taking like one of those rope slingshot things, like the bolos things, and swirling it in the air, and it starts making this whistling noise. And they just whip what is just this rock, like that's like this big, this metal ball comes flying at Zeke's face right before it's going to impact and change Zeke's facial structure. All you hear is a ceramic breaking, like a pot just broke. And now I have to roll some dice.
Am I still at my magic bar drinking size, or have I now
Oh
returned
no,
to
you're
my?
still at magic. You're still at magic bar
Okay,
drinking
okay,
size.
We're
okay.
in the
Doug
bar.
Potbreaker knows what he's doing.
Got it.
And so instantly, as that
Yes.
breaking happens, no damage is done to you at all. But as a scholar, you understand what Doug Potbreaker is able to do as a bunch of sand completely pours down on your head. Doug
This is
Potbreaker, for
how
everyone at home,
crocodiles actually bathe, so this is okay.
Doug Potbreaker has the ability of one of my favorite spells in this system that's literally called Protective Clay Pot.
What?
The spell reads, you choose a target within visual range. The next time the target of this spell is attacked, the damage is instead transferred instantaneously to a random clay pot within 5,000 miles.
What?
If the pot was
So
holding anything, the contents immediately spill all over the target. You roll a d10 to determine the contents of said clay pot. Clay pot could be grain, water, oil, sand, spiderwebs, cider, pickled cabbage, ink, ashes of a deceased, or it's a chamber pot. Zeke is fairly lucky that it was only sand. So, as
Zeke just
Crust
got a bath.
knows,
It's okay.
yep, Doug finds this extremely entertaining that they're able to do. This is their Doug's one trick pony.
Frick.
Hence, Doug Potbreaker.
Whoa. Crest is announcing it's that Doug Potbreaker.
That
Yes,
could have been
I
my
am
face.
Doug
Thank you,
Potbreaker.
Doug, wherever you are.
And that's
Wow.
Doug has the crowns, and this is head of the village, Doug Potbreaker. Now that I've gotten you to stop talking for 2 minutes, what are you doing here? In a simple couple sentences, and don't try to lie to me about turtle poop and souls and whatever kind of mishmash you're doing. I'm the head of this village, and I'll toss you out if you aren't honest with me, and someone that can speak in concise sentences.
Okay, Braun,
Oh,
you're up.
not me.
Uh, Sir, we come from the north. We are here to figure out how to address the challenges that we are having with the Mephren. And here, my dear compatriots are here as investigators and knowledge seekers and warriors to help all the people of the land combat the danger that is the Mephren invasion.
Oh, you talked to that drunk miner, didn't you?
Uh, well, my dear friend Fowler spoke at length to the very informative miner.
And one of the grasskin that's in his trio just like holds up your guy. This and he shakes him. This one, this guy, been living here for a week. Yeah, this
Crest knows
guy.
he has no wages.
I
Yeah.
think you should let him gamble on which motorcycle is going to win while we're having a conversation about that individual.
All right, get out of here. And he kind of throws the mine, passes the miner slowly. Kind of, miner is passed out the door.
Happy gambling.
You're telling me that you're actually going to go to the mine and fix this issue?
We're gonna try.
We have a lead.
And dear sir, the Brunctious family of my esteemed lineage has a deep connection to the mines, and my uncle Vern used to mine constantly and has handed down this amazing pickaxe that I carry with me always, and on by happenstance I have it with me now, so that it feels like it is destiny that we are prepared to journey into the mine.
Okay.
Could Zeke make
No,
a
no, no, no,
knowledge
no, no, no,
roll?
no. Oh, yes. Yes, you can.
A knowledge
After
roll
he's done
on
screaming at you.
lore about Doug Botbreaker to see if they can come up with any stories that they would know that would
I mean, I don't know
help
if you
his
even want to
ego.
roll that. I'm sure that I've told you like so many because like Doug Popbreaker is my idol as far as grass can go. Like Doug is top tier. Like there are legends about Doug. I don't know how many have been exaggerated, but I have told you about the time that like he went into a knight's room and just it was filled with pots for some reason and he broke every single one of them, left and realized he forgot his keys, went back, all the pots regenerated, so he broke them all again. Classic.
Just looking for rupees.
Zeke wants to
essentially-
see if they have learned any secret knowledge.
Ah.
And before we get to that, essentially, it is probably like press is not entirely necessary because after Brahm is done with their exposition, Doug just looks at it all and said, "Listen, I am not one for evil deeds or anything like that, but I will say that if you wait about 5-6 days to solve this problem, then we all could probably just move into Sorso Castle ourselves. And we could probably all go investigate the rumors of the treasure underneath Sorso Castle, and we wouldn't have to worry about a king anymore. So if you all want to just hang out here with us for 5-6 days
Crust has lost
and let
their
the
idol.
problem kind of take care of itself, then maybe we do that. You can
Could
go
you give us 1
gamble on the
second?
motorcycle races.
We're just gonna huddle very quickly, just to talk about the motorcycle races for just 1 quick second, please. Let me huddle. Okay.
That's no more idol. Crust is sad.
I'm so
This is-
sorry.
Never meet your idols, Crust. It never ends well. But that seems very mean, and I don't like to be mean.
No, Crust, think that's an awful plan.
But how do we get
Clearly.
out of here without them trying to stop us now, though, if we don't agree? Maybe the Grasskin village wasn't a good idea.
What?
Well,
No.
clearly, dear friends, we
Mhm.
can't let this shocking revelation stall us in in solving the challenge that we came here to do. Look at all the challenges that
Yes.
we've already successfully faced, and I am so
Zeke has
sorry that
Zeke has an
your
idea.
idol. Oh, Zeke, please, what is your idea?
Look, the pack turtle is already shitting everywhere.
Mhm.
So, oops, crapping. Sorry. We'll take that in post, maybe. And it's annoying them. So maybe if we say taking Phil Collins out of the village, we can then just run.
And as long as we solve the issue in the mines, the resource that they are using for the usurpation will not be available to them anymore, if I understand
Oh,
correctly.
yeah, and Crust knows
Two
we
birds,
solved
one
that
stone.
by getting the piece of metal that was stolen from the desecrated altars.
Here we go. Okay, that's a great point. Okay, so let's break, and then we'll totally use that plan to get out of here.
So just as a breakdown, so as we're looking towards Crust, the ultimate decision lies with you. Do you want to try to talk your way out or use another form of gambit? So that thinking outside the box thing that we talked about in the first one, which talking is kind of like one of those other ways, but is there anything that you want to kind
A
of
dramatic
figure out otherwise?
distraction. We
Yes,
want to point
exactly.
at the window and be like, "Oh no, Phil Collins won't stop pooping."
Oh
Um,
gosh.
and hope,
Oh no.
"Oh, what do
Yeah,
we do?" And hope that
100%.
distracts them.
Okay, so you're going with the hey, look over there.
Yes,
Mhm.
All right.
100%.
What I would like you to do then,
No.
I will allow you to do a cunning roll, which leads us to leadership, planning, speech, or deception. I would like you to make a cunning roll, and I would like anyone else to be able to I would say one other player to be able to assist, whether it's Zeke, Brom, or Fowler, to assist
Zeke
in
will
this
help,
deception.
Great.
Okay,
but
Zeke,
Zeke also
go
has
ahead.
adaptable. So
Hmm.
Zeke is not only going to use cunning and take 2 points from that, is also going to take 2 points from knowledge to give 2 points to Crust, because Zeke knows that uh, a proper distraction needs a big bang, and it's going to use the slingshot to break the window.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So with
So
those
you're
two then,
using
I'm gonna
yep
go ahead
that
and
two.
add my one left,
Okay,
for my cunning for a
okay,
total of 3.
okay. So
No,
your total was 3. Okay. Wait,
uh,
with
I
the
haven't I haven't rolled yet.
oh,
Sorry.
okay,
I'm
okay. I
adding a
thought
plus
that was with
3.
the roll.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, adding a plus 3. Okay,
Yeah,
wonderful.
that's attribute.
I hate when I can never figure out, is it upside down? No, that is the right side up. 9 plus 3.
Woohoo!
12.
Wow. And
I
instantly,
can count
as
on my
they're,
fingers.
as you're doing that, and as
Happy.
the glass breaks, and then you're essentially pointing, you're like essentially, they kind of like misheard you, and they're concerned that the turtle is essentially rampaging the town.
Aw.
And as they're kind of getting worked up, they kind of miss that the magic would then turn the turtle down to their size, but they're actually worried that this is like a Pacific Rim like kaiju turtle attack kind of thing
Yes.
going on. And so everyone was screaming, they're like, "Scatter, turtle, go!"
Let's run for
And
Phil
so
Collins now.
instantly the band ends up doing like a chase scene, like like just like instantly like a chase scene, like metal melody, the and so everyone then just like starts scattering, like people are like jumping over the bar, just trying to steal booze on their way out. Like it is every grasskin and person for themselves, like someone randomly punches someone else in the face, like essentially a bar fight breaks out. And in the mix of this, because of this massive like 12 that you got, you essentially, Brahm is able to pick up one or two of you and just kind of barrel out, kind of out the door. And instantly, like with kind of their horns and stuff, several grass can go flying. And you have a choice. You can either run for Phil Collins, or several of you can try to hop on a motorbike also.
Okay, this is the silliest question, but like, are there motorbikes faster than Phil Collins?
I would say that if you are Grasskin size, so for you and Zeke, they are going to be faster. They probably are not going to be able to hold Brom and
Yep.
Fowler. their
Like, I'm
sizes,
not
but
strapping them to my feet like they're motor skates, you know? These aren't hover
rocket
skates
skate.
for me.
If Crust and Zeke
Or are they?
jump on the motorcycles as the other
Mhm.
two grow, we can spin around them to make sure that nobody tries to attack them, and then we can take
Mhm.
the motorcycles and Phil Collins.
I like that. I like that a
Yep.
lot.
Yep.
So essentially, we're going to piggyback this onto the massive success roll. Is that you're able to essentially Zeke and Crust are able to kind of don not just the bikes, but also like some spiked leather vests,
The
like
helmets.
some exactly, some helmets, some chains. So it looks like you're being escorted by two grasskin punks out of the village itself. And so you're easily able to head out towards the stable where Phil Collins is just chewing on some maple cubes and just having the time of his life with the other grasskin that was like kind of with him. He's like, yeah, I know, like like we've been hanging out and I think we have a good vibe going, and so this other guy and I are, we're just kind of hanging out, and it's going pretty well, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to commitment, but when I wake up in the morning, they're the person I want to see, so
Go, go,
um
go. Phil
and
Collins,
so
Crust. Crust says we need you. Crust
and then
knows
so
that.
Phil Collins immediately is like,
Come crashing in, pull him out.
If you have
yep.
been made Phil Collins' friend, Phil Collins' friend can come too.
No, I got appreciated, but there's someone that, I really need to talk to. And that
Oh, okay.
but hey, all
Crust
right,
appreciates self-growth.
yeah, thanks, Phil Collins. And so as you are essentially storming out of this village as this ball of brawl essentially is going on into this bar, and there is Doug Popbreak is trying to break out, so there's random stuff, there's spider webs, there's cider falling on people, there's some oil, but then one guy runs past like a torch, and now there's a grass can on fire running down the lane, and there's just pure epic chaos going on as you trundle out of the village. And I'm letting by producer that we are getting near our end of our time. So in the next session of what we'd be doing is we'd be traveling towards the mines themselves to then investigate where James and Afa end up living on their brown cabin with blue shutters by a pristine lake that our miner was very jealous of, who would have, went with a more modern look, but that's fine. And then investigating the into the mines themselves to essentially rebuild the altar, and this metal plate. Essentially, what it does, if I can say essentially about 4 more times, is what it does is it reduces the amount of vibrations that the Mephrin can hear in their vicinity, and so it calms them and keeps them where they're safe and comfortable in this area. Um, and so that's the essential idea of that's not even if this adventure is contained in a thing, it's just something that we just cooked up. It's not anything
Mhm.
that's not the deep dark secret of this adventure. But for the prototype, this is something that would have been what would have led up to the final conclusion of finishing the adventure for the cast. But I do want to thank everyone for coming to play with us. I'd like to thank all my players, everyone who's watching this and is thinking about viewing Creature Caravan, World of Arzium on the Game Found crowdfunding. Red Raven is the first board game company that I volunteered for at Gen Con. It is one of the ones that I found a home doing that, and eventually moved over to doing TTRPGs, and found a home with them again, asking them if we could run this game because I knew we could find a crew that would support the world that Ryan and Mallory and Brennan and everyone in their home has created. If you have any questions in regards to these rules or why we did what we did, you can find me at Hermes4939, or contact us with the team over on Rainbows and Razorblades or R&R Production on Twitter, Blue Sky, or whatever may have you. For anyone that's watching this live with us after this has come out, we really appreciate you joining us. Feel free to like, follow, subscribe to Rainbows and Razorblades on both YouTube and Twitch, and follow the rest of us on our socials, which when you are watching it live will be in the chat. But before we leave, I want to go around and talk to all my cast and have them share who they are, where you can find them, and a little bit about them. And we'll start with Suzanne.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm a little bummed that we don't get to go into the mine. I was really excited, but I think that just says a
One
lot
day.
about like the
One
story and the
day.
game, right? Absolutely. I'm Suzanne Sheldon. I am one half of the Salt and Sass Gaming podcast. My content partner Mandy and I have been podcasting on board games for 6 years now. And so if you're interested in that half of the tabletop game world, please give us a listen and a follow. There, Salt and Sass Games. You can find me personally. I'm at 425 Suzanne on basically every social media site that is out there, because that's what we do nowadays. And thank you, everybody.
Killian.
I've been Killian, your resident Chaos Goblin, and you can find me here most of the time because this is my home. Friday nights, we run Somnum Exteri, a cyberpunk homebrew that I'm just saying this Friday is going to get off. Well, it would have been last Friday. Watch last Friday's. It's going to be off the rails. We also have Dragonbane on R&R that is on Thursday nights, and it's Oops Old Ducks, and it's quacktastic. Besides that, you can find me for a couple of Thursdays for a Star Trek short shot where I will be playing a Birdborg over on Spectrum TTRPG. And then I have a couple other things coming up. October's going to be a madhouse, but it's going to be fun.
Thank you. And
You can
B.
find me at Dark Cerelish everywhere.
Oh,
That's
yes.
important.
Thank you. That's done. B, tell us a little about yourself.
Yes, I mean, first off, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. I loved this cast. I loved the game. I loved the setting, the silliness, the wholesomeness, the intensity. All of it was fantastic. But especially the simplicity of the system. I'm not really going to read a whole lot whenever, just ever. So like, the easier it is, the better. And I'm so grateful that like it was easy peasy. But with that, I've been your non-binary busy bee. My name has been B Zelda, they, them pronouns. You can find me online on every social media as B Zelda _. I am a tabletop podcaster, streamer, writer, sensitivity consultant. I'm doing something at some point, often, all the time. So like, find me on a platform. I might talk about it, I might not. Who knows?
Thank you. And Omar.
Hello, everyone. I am Omar. You can find me at Omar Najam at most places, and if not there, Omar Najam Film. This is such a joy. It is my favorite thing to play new and exciting systems and games. And so to get to do this is an absolute dream come true. And to play a frog aspiring Sherlock is the absolute best. Thank you to the best Watson ever. What an absolute joy. And in terms of stuff that's coming up, 13days13shorts.com, there is a little Halloween festival of art that I like to host once a year, where people just make art. It's free. Anyone can participate. You can do whatever you want. Each of the days get a theme. So if you're into like building little worlds and character building and fun exploration, I think this would be right down your alley. So hang out with us at 13 Days 13 Shorts.
Thank you very much. And yes, I was hoping you were going to mention 13 Days, 13 Shorts. It's a very exciting personal project that Omar takes on every year, and it makes him exceptionally busy during that time period. And it's exciting. It's Halloween. But again, I wanted to thank everyone for coming with us on this ride. This is a group that I have always wanted to play with, and with a company that I really adore. So I can't say this enough, and you're going to hear me say it several more times over the next few weeks with this project, before this project comes to a close. But again, go find this project on GameFound under Creature Caravan, Red Raven Games. Please go follow all the cast here at all their various socials, wherever they travel, and who never knows what the future is going to bring us. But most importantly, for everyone that's watching this, please take care of yourself. You are kind, you are wonderful, and we do care for all of you and want what's best for you in whatever form that may take. So again, take care of yourself. Things are tough, but there are friends and there are fun things that you can do with the simplest of systems and the simplest of groups. So again, good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Rainbows and Razorblade Productions for the World of Arzium by Red Raven Games. Thank you to my cast, the producer, and everyone that made this happen. And thank you and good night.